Okay, let's go on to our running back starts for week 7. We have, first off, our boy Damien Harris. A lot going on with the Patriots running backs, but Damien Harris seems to be one of Bill Belichick's favorites. Stardom against the Poopy Jets. Game script. Gonna go up ahead early. Possibly just run the clock out. Actually, no. I like Damien Harris this week because, especially with all these bye weeks, I'm fucking lighting it up. Damien Harris, I got him starting in a ton of leagues, so I'm with it.
Yeah, I love Damien Harris. I mean, a guy who was, I know at leleast last year, he was graded as like one of the highest running backs on Pro Football Focus, and he's coming off a 19-touch game. He had 18 carries, 1 reception, 108 total yards. He gets you a touchdown, so money game from last week if you started him. Could have had a monster game against the Texans 2 weeks ago. He has the 1 touchdown, but then he fumbled at like the half-inch yard line. So he potentially could have had 2 touchdowns a couple weeks ago against the Texans. So he could be riding a little hot streak for his 3rd game coming in here. But, yeah, I do like it. I mean, even with the fumbles, Bill Belichick still seems to give him the football. James White obviously is on IR. He's out for the year. So, we've been seeing a little bit more of Brandon Bolden get incorporated. Even Ramondre Stevenson got a little bit of love last week as well. But when they get in close, it's Damien Harris. They don't mess around. And I'm expecting this. I like the under in this game. I think it was like 42 points. It's a division game. The Jets are on a bye.
It opened at 43.
They're coming off a bye. Yeah, they're coming off a bye. Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach, so he's had 2 weeks to really prepare for I guess you could say like a par or even a subpar offense at best for the Patriots. So I'm expecting a lot of running in this matchup here. I'm not expecting a ton of points, but I do believe that's I almost said Sonny Michel. Damien Harris will be a guy who, he's going to see probably 18 touches, and like I said, a guy who's one of the best running backs on Pro Football Focus. Yeah, give me that all day, especially when there's so many running backs on a bye. Like, to have a guy like Damien Harris as my RB2. I mean, maybe he has to be your RB1 because you're out a couple guys, but if he's my RB2 this week, I like it.
Sup, Kane? Here's the thing. If you download the Underdog Fantasy app right now and use promo code AVG, you get a free $10 added onto your deposit right now. Use promo code AVG. Links down below. Now back to your video.
Good flex option, too, if you need a flex option.
Yeah, by the way, so we don't have any sits for the running back position. It's just the only reason we did that is because really, I mean, this week it's fucking hard because you got so many bye weeks. It's like who you gonna sit realistically? And there's some that we don't really like so much, but I mean, realistically, you're probably in positions where you have to start the backup running backs or separate, different running backs or your bench running backs, I should say. So let's go on to the next one here. We got your boy Elijah Mitchell. That should have been the comment of the week. One of the guys told us that we had the wrong picture for Elijah Mitchell, but that happens, and appreciate it. So we got the right picture in for the template here. Week 7 start Elijah Mitchell. You got him on a Sunday night game against the Colts. I'm not mad at it.
I mean, yeah, I love Elijah Mitchell. He was probably my top waiver pickup personally this last week if he was out there. And he was out there in, I think, like 40 to 60% of leagues. Like, people were dropping him over the bye. And, I think he kind of slipped under the radar because, last week they were on a bye. So if you went to the running back position, he wasn't there because, he was projected 0 points because he was on a bye. That's why we always say you got to filter that through the roster percentage to see who the highest rostered players are. And it'll be crazy. You'll see some players pop up out of nowhere and you'll be like, oh, my God, I didn't even realize this guy was on the waiver wire. But, yeah.
Oh, say less.
Yeah, say less. Give me some Elijah Mitchell this week. I love it. Last week or the week prior to their bye, he outsnapped Trey Sermon 44-2. Now, I know Kyle Juszczyk is being utilized a lot. Maybe he's just a savvy veteran, a better blocker in terms. But, we're going to have Jimmy Garoppolo starting this game, not Trey Lance, which also boosts some confidence in myself to start Elijah Mitchell because, Trey Lance was running the ball a ton. So when the quarterback's running the ball a ton, it hurts that running back's value because now, you get in close. Maybe the running back steals a goal line carry, or, even if the quarterback, Trey Lance, Lamar Jackson, these guys, they get you 50, 60 yards on the ground. Those are 50, 60 rushing yards that the running back could potentially get. And, Elijah Mitchell, when he was in there, first couple games, 19 touches, and 11 touches. So I like this. You're not shying away from the Colts run defense either. They're middle of the pack. They're allowing 4.1 yards per carry. And like I said, they had an extra week to prepare. So, yeah, dial up Elijah Mitchell right here. Obviously, you're taking a gamble because you never know what Shanahan and these 49ers running backs, do they come out and,
yeah, that's annoying.
Does Trey Sermon all of a sudden get all the work? Possibly. Does, JaMychal Hasty's activated. Does JaMychal Hasty come out and get a ton of run? Possibly. But I'm just going to go off the fact that, the first 2 weeks of the season, 19 touches for Elijah Mitchell. I'm expecting that same type of workload this week. So, yeah, love me some Elijah Mitchell.
Very nice. Very nice match. I like it as well. Let's go on to, this is my guy. I almost had to put this in the sleeper starts. I got some Pittsburgh Steelers footage here for James Conner because, your boy's a Steelers fan. So, James Conner, obviously you have Chase Edmonds there, but Chase Edmonds really was not. By the way, the Cardinals are playing the Texans. Let's just get that out of the way. But Chase Edmonds, really, I think he ended up with like 4 rushes last week. So that doesn't sound good to me if I'm a Chase Edmonds owner. Yeah, so last week 4 rushes for 46 yards and then 4 receptions for 4 yards last week, Chase Edmonds. So James Conner ran 16 times last week. And last week we said to start Michael Pittman as a sleeper start, and when they play the Texans. And now I figured it out. You cannot run or you cannot throw the ball against the Texans. That's not how you beat them. You beat them on the ground. Every team just runs the ball against them. This is the pass attempts against the Texans after week 1. Week 1, nobody knew what was going on with the Texans. So Trevor Lawrence, he's a rookie, threw the ball 51 times. But since then, the teams that played against the Texans, pass attempts are 21, 34, 30, 30, and then 20, which is like in today's NFL, those are some rookie numbers, baby. So yeah, I mean, that's what we figured out. This is what teams do. I'm expecting the Cardinals to just run the ball down the Texans' throat. I think that Kyler Murray could possibly snake James Conner in some situations, but I think when they're in the red zone, I think James Conner's going to get opportunity, and I could definitely see a situation where James Conner could end up with 2 touchdowns.
I mean, yeah, he's done it twice already this year,
yeah,
so it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. He's had 3 games with 16 or more carries. And, Houston, not very good against the run, allowing 4.7 yards per carry. They're allowing 11 rushing touchdowns so far this season, which is, up there. That's amongst the most in the NFL. And when you're thinking about them being up, controlling the clock, you can see a lot of James Conner towards the tail end of the game as well. And then, Chase Edmonds, he's been banged up for the most part. So he's activated. He's probably going to play, but in a game where, the Cardinals are 6-0, right? And they're playing against the Texans, who are not very good. What are they, 1-5? Why would I throw my guy Chase Edmonds out there who's been banged up and maybe he's good enough to play, but I'm not going to throw him out there in a game where I don't need him. Let me just give James Conner the workload in this game because let's just get in here, get this dub, pack it up, and go home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he gets a ton of work. Like this started a lot.
Yeah, me too. So it's horny.
It's crazy. Just side note, one of the comments I saw was
this guy's trying to trade James Conner, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just because of the bye weeks and whatnot, but some guy was saying, should I trade James Conner for Kareem Hunt and Clyde Edwards-Helaire? And
it's like yes.
And I know that sounds crazy when you think about it. Obviously, those guys are hurt. Kareem Hunt's on IR and Clyde Edwards is on IR. I think Clyde Edwards' injury is probably more severe than Kareem Hunt, but, I mean, you're probably going to be without those guys for a couple weeks. But, yeah, dude, if you can afford it, yeah, I'm definitely trading James Conner for both those guys because when they come back, those guys' value is going to be way higher combined compared to just James Conner, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you just get Kareem Hunt to come back and be what he was doing, I'd give me Kareem Hunt over James Conner all day. But, yeah, that was just a side note that we saw another comment that
For sure.
somebody left.
Hey, did you like that video? No, not the one of Big Ben completely eating shit when nobody even touched him. I'm talking about our fantasy football video we just did. You just watched. Well, guess what? That was just a clip from the full audio podcast. So if you want to check out the whole thing, links down below. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, all of them. Anywhere you can get audio podcasts, we're there. Go ahead and check it out. And if you don't want to look at your fantasy team to look the way Big Ben does right here, wait for it. Come on, replay. This is your fantasy team. But that won't be your fantasy team if you subscribe to AVG Fantasy Football. So go ahead, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to the channel and like.